Hey everybody, how's it going today? I was just on Instagram. I was a little bit too chatty. I shared too many views and I kind of ran people off. Today, I want to talk about Devona fragrances. They sent me a lot of samples. They're a brand new brand. They focus on fragrances that are for the ladies, and the brand is very charitable and gives back to helping ladies, recover, building their lives up from terrible situations that they've been through, and ladies who are not in great situations. So a fantastic brand. Very honored to work with them. The brand of Devona. They sent me a bunch of samples. I have fragrances that from Magal Matos. I worked. George Zarhoff was very generous enough to hook me up to send these my way, and I have four fragrances from them to share with you, and then I have my Christmas fragrance I'll share at the end. My family knows I love fragrances. They always want to get me something. They know I'm very picky, and I wanted to show, I let them know of a fragrance that I've wanted for a long time, but it wouldn't break the bank. It wasn't uber expensive. It wasn't extremely expensive, and I'm very happy to have it. I love that fragrance, and I'm going to share that one with you at the end. Let's talk about these fragrances from Magal Matos. These are kind of first impressions. I'll do reviews of them in the future. But very nice fragrances. And the two people who are in the house, say hello. Let me know what your scent of the day. Give me a like or two if you want to help me out. And this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the world of technology that I can even do this on YouTube. That I can even bring fragrances to you, bring me fragrance content, and build up the community, make a friendship with you. So this is a lot of fun. The first one here is called Sailor Stories. I can only imagine the inspiration for this fragrance being about some old men on the docks talking about their fish stories, their sailor tales. Maybe they ran into a mermaid. You know how fish stories go. The fish starts out this big, and then as time goes on, they exaggerate how big the fish was, and the fish was the size of a car. Maybe it's just that that's the inspiration to this fragrance. I have a lot of thoughts about it. E. Jean Baptiste says, "Good afternoon. I just ordered three fragrances from this indie brand called on Etsy called Alchemy Six, naturally sensual oil based. I'll have to check them out. I'll have to see, look into that brand. There's a lot of indie brands. There's a lot of good brands. I've worked with Possettes. Posey is an amazing brand. I really like their work. I bought from them quite a few fragrances. I think that Whisper Your Better Things and Madar are maybe some of the best from the house. Great fragrances. I really do like that brand. So, and there's Sucre Labelle, which I've recently worked with. Great brands, a lot of good people. Sid Alchemist says, "What up again, dude? I'm still not Ray Lewis. My scent of the day is Dior Sauvage again." Yeah, I was just over there on Instagram and I decided to jump back over here. Dior Sauvage Parfum. Honestly, I haven't tried that one yet. I don't know if it's available where I live. But I honestly do want to try it. If they tone down that shampoo quality and they make it a little bit more of a professional scent, a little bit more mellow, maybe they make the fragrance a little bit more creamy, I might like that Dior Sauvage. I honestly didn't like the EDT. I think I've talked about that a few times. I thought it was loud. I didn't find that the musk was metallic, but I did find it was a little bit sour. Not animalic exactly, but almost like sweaty. I didn't like the shower gel aspect to it. I didn't really like any how the fragrance was blended or any of the notes, honestly. But it was a very strong performer. It's a very loud fragrance. Um, Eugene Baptiste says my scent of the day is Primal Code by Swiss Arabian. Swiss Arabian, it sounds, has some really good performers, some really good fragrances for the money. I got to see what I can do and look into that brand. Um, Scent Alchemist says it's deeper and it's everything you just spoke. Yeah, so that's fantastic. I got to try it out, give it a try. Okay, so the first one here I want to share with y'all real quick is called Sailor Stories. Again, all about kind of like on the seaside, telling a sailor story. This one, honestly, is very interesting. It's not what I was expected. It's a little bit of a yellow aldehydic fragrance. So it has aldehydes. If you're not familiar with the feel of aldehydes, they're often yellow florals, but it's like florals that have a sharpness to them. They have a different body to them, but they're kind of sharp. I would describe the texture of an aldehyde. A lot of the time, they're quite sharp, very strong. They can be overpowering. One of the most popular aldehydic fragrances out there is Chanel Number Five. If you've never tried it, you might not love it, but I would encourage you, if you go to a mall, just try it out. Try the fragrance out. If you're not familiar with different styles of fragrances and different notes, one of the best things to do is go to your mall and just smell everything. Look up the notes, look up the characteristics of it. Maybe get yourself a sample. This one, Sailor Stories, has a lot of this interesting, aldehydic vibe to it. It does have a little bit of this vetiver, almost like driftwood aspect to it. So it does have some wood, and it does overall have a cologne freshness to it. I don't find this to be the most creative fragrance. It has those three main accords. It doesn't feel like it has a lot of body to it. I would like some more body. If it's going to be an aquatic fragrance, honestly, I'm getting rained on. But honestly, I would like it to be a little bit more fresh with more citrus. But Sailor Stories does capture, maybe sailors on the docks telling a little bit of a story. Maybe back in the day, exchanging, talking about their catches of the day, how fishing went. So it captures a nice idea. I like the idea. I think fishing stories and sailor stories is definitely a part of a lot of people's cultures, especially back in the day. So this is an interesting fragrance. Sorry, I'm just smelling it again. Honestly, the vetiver kind of quality to that vetiver almost wood quality, isn't something that I would expect. The aldehyde aspect to that fragrance is not something that I would expect. But in the air, it does capture kind of that feeling. I was expecting there to be a little bit more driftwood. I was expecting there to be a little bit more, maybe muskiness, maybe like a fish-like quality to the fragrance. The next one is Germain, which is my favorite from this line from Magal Maltos. That's how you spell it, everybody. It's called Germain, like geranium. Um, this is my favorite from the house. If you don't know what the note of geranium smells like, there's a good bit of it in Terre d'Hermes and Terre d'Hermes Eau Trace Fresh. Um, it smells like a green floral, almost like a green rose. It's a cousin to rose. It's very fresh, almost herbal. I like this fragrance a lot. There's this understated, slightly, very, very slightly sweet, powdery nuance to it. I think it has a good body and a good quality. If I was to buy one of these fragrances from Magal Matos, Germain would be the one. It's perfect for professional situations. Office fragrance, a gentleman's fragrance, Germain is actually a pretty good fragrance. I feel like it's more well-rounded than the others, and it has a good freshness about it. I think what's going to scare a lot of people off is the price. This stuff is, some of them do seem like maybe they could be composed better. This one is a decently composed fragrance, but for the price and for the quality, it's really hard to justify this against Eau Sauvage by Dior and Terre de Hermes as well. It's really hard to justify the purchase of this for the price when you have, again, Terre de Hermes, Eau Sauvage thing, and if you're going for bigger niche, Kaleidoscope by Daniel Hossier as well. And I love that fragrance, and I own it. So this is a really nice fragrance, though. It's really interesting. Honestly don't know if I would buy that one, but that's the one I'm most likely to buy. The next one is Silverstone, and again, this is from Magal Matos. Let me know what's your scent of the day. What are you wearing? How are you doing? I see 8 people in the house. If you want to support me, again, please give me a like. Silverstone smells like a silver stone. It captured its name. I don't know why this fragrance was created. I don't know what he was personally feeling. It's this one smells more of a gentlemanly scent too. It smells a little bit classic, a little bit classy, and it does a very good job. But again, in the dry down, he's using aldehydes. He's wanting to give this fragrance better performance, a little bit of freshness, and give this fragrance a little bit of sharpness. If I was to compare this fragrance to anything, it kind of smells like gray vetiver in a way. I think there's one called Olmsted and Vox, but from a house called Fleur, which is kind of a newer house that most people don't even know about. But you got to check that one out. Uh, but this fragrance again is kind of hard to justify the price on it. Michael Hodges says, "What's up, man? How you doing today? How are you? It's happy to see you. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm being rained on a little bit here, but I'm going to share a bunch of samples with you, and then my Christmas fragrance. Things are going pretty good. I just had a big kind of rant and a conversation on Instagram. Again, if y'all aren't a part of my Instagram world, I share a lot of giveaways, a lot of content and reviews. I have a lot of fun over there as well as a platform. So check that out. I'm Centaur underscore fragrance on my Instagram. Silverstone, it's a nice fragrance. Again, it almost smells like a vetiver fragrance. There's no way around it. This fragrance still smells like a aldehyde vetiver fragrance. It's kind of gray and stony and silvery, just like Silverstone. So it has a good name to it. It's a little bit more fresh than I would expect. Um, as far as a silver fragrance goes, capturing the feel of silver fragrances, Posset's Silver Sandalwood and some of their silver fragrances, I think capture that feel of silver maybe a little bit better. But it's a good fragrance. It's interesting. I think gents out there would really like that fragrance. It's pretty well done. The next one is called Miracle of Roses. I honestly have a little bit of a hard time with this fragrance. Michael Hodges. This Scent 22 says Scent of the Day is Casablanca by Swiss Arabian. I gotta check them out. Mount Vernon, Georgia here. Hey, how you doing from Georgia? How you doing? I need to check that out. Maybe I'll get to go there one day. Michael Hodges says I'm trying to get started. Could you please help me with samples? Maybe I could trade you if you want to message me on Facebook Messenger or even Instagram. I could tell you maybe companies that have worked with me in the past. I do have samples, but I'm kind of trying to get together a big lot of samples and maybe sell them off or trade them to other fragrance reviewers. So if you want to exchange anything, maybe we can exchange some fragrances if you want to exchange a bunch of samples. Or maybe I'll just eventually do some giveaways on my channel later on in the future. Talkin' Review says, "Hey Nick, yeah, hey Talkin' Review, how are you doing?" Um, Miracle of Roses is a very interesting. It's like a very light rose. It's like a very universal rose fragrance. Um, it does have a little bit of this powdery chalkiness to it. Yeah, definitely message me, Michael. We'll see what we can do. It's a good fragrance. I just don't know. There's one that's Roses by, I think it's by Victor and Rolf. They have a like a diamond or a high end collection, and this has a similar feel to it. It's like a very light, fluttery, happy rose that's a little bit powdery and a little bit chalky. Again, I think he uses aldehydes very well. I think that's one of the things that he's trying to focus on, trying to make that maybe a core DNA. Miguel Matos with some of his fragrances is his use of aldehydes. Miracle of Roses is not a young rose fragrance, I would say. It is unisex. I do feel like ladies would more like it though. Maybe older ladies, maybe a professional lady. Um, I don't feel like it's particularly youthful. And I don't feel like it's a particularly fun, carefree fragrance. If you want a recommendation of a good rose fragrance for the money, Declaration Un Soir, especially the intense version, is very unisex. It's spicy. It's a date night fragrance. It's seductive, and it's very well done. So let me see the comments here. Are you in the States, my dude? Yeah, I am. I don't want to just put my state out there. I'm a little bit more private, but I'm in the South. I'm near the Gulf Coast. I don't want to just put my state out there. I like a little bit of privacy, but maybe I'll be more open in the future. Michael Hodges says, my scent of the day is Pulse of the Night. Love this stuff. I've heard that's a really nice fragrance from Issey Miyake. I've almost blind bought it 2 or 3 times. It's a really good fragrance from what I hear. Talking Review says, what fragrance are you looking forward to trying that you don't have? I have so many. I really want to try Prison Blues And there's I have a huge list. It's hard to keep track of all the ones I want to try. I just have so many, and I almost forget. I almost lose track of how many fragrances I want to try. I don't really focus my mind on what I want to try next. I'm more in the mood of like what I want to buy, which is kind of funny because I've sampled so much. I've found plenty of things that I think I can fit my collection, and I just really want to buy. One of them is Iode by I think it's Carabella. I'm not remembering the name right now, but I gotta buy that one. They have an extrait version, and the price isn't too bad. It's about 70. I gotta get it in the future. Lots of fragrances, more on my buy list than my want to smell list, if that makes sense. And Decent says hello. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Michael Hodges says, "Get it, man." Yeah, I'm gonna. I gotta get in a better financial place to buy all these fragrances, to jump into all these fragrances all the time. So everybody, I see 15 people in the house. That's a lot of people, usually for my chats. Please give me a like, and thank you so much for being here. What's your scent of the day? How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. I love to connect and make friendships with y'all, and I'm being rained on, as y'all can see. Okay, let's jump to the House of Devona. This is a brand new house. They're an upcoming brand. Honestly, this brand has smaller. You buy smaller batches or like 1 ounce fragrances. I think they're $40 or $50. These are more universal fragrances. These aren't really indie. These are more of mass appealing fragrances with an interesting twist. So again, they're going to be mass appealing, but they're going to use some interesting ingredients. I'm very happy to work with this brand. They sent me these samples. They're focused on fragrances for ladies, and again, they were so generous to do this, and they give a lot of money and a lot of charity to helping ladies from bad situations. They're in bad situations. They're impoverished and different situations to help rebuild their lives. So this is a good brand, and I'm very happy to work. I'll send you some Pulse of the Night, no charge. I'm grateful for that, my friend. Reach out to me on my Facebook Messenger or maybe my Instagram Messenger, and let's see what we can do. Devona Breyer is the first one I'm going to share with you. This is I tested this one a little bit, and I think this is one of my mom's favorites. This one has citrus, green notes, melon, rose, honeysuckle, papaya, lily of the valley, musk, cedar, and vanilla. They describe this as resolute, artistic, and proud. So this is supposed to be a little bit more of a bold rose fragrance. It's a little bit more of a confident, mature rose fragrance. If y'all don't know what briar means, it means like the barbs or the spikes on a rose. So this is a little bit of a mature femme fatale kind of rose fragrance. It's a little bit more purple or very dark red, wine dark red tone to the fragrance. I was kind of excited for the papaya. I don't get a lot of the papaya exactly. It does have an interesting, full-bodied, almost like sour and sweet combination. It is a nice, gentle ladies kind of fragrance. It's well done. Again, this brand is fantastic for ladies' fragrances, for being wearable, and for the price. You get a small batch. I think they're 1 ounce bottles again for about 50. They they all have a freshness to them. I wouldn't say they have a cologne vibe by any means, but they do have a little bit of a universal appeal compared to the more indie stuff that I've shared in the past. Um, Georgia Gent says, "Hey yo, how you doing, man? How you doing, Georgia Gent? Fantastic reviewer, fantastic guy. Thank you so much for stopping by." Michael Hodges says, "What up, Georgia Gent?" Yes. Let me see if I can't scoot this back a little bit. Get myself out of the rain a little bit here. Because I'm being rained on pretty bad. It's a rainy day over here. Okay, let's jump. Okay, I think we're a little bit better now. I'm still on my shoulders, but we'll be okay. Anyways, the next one is Siren. This is, I think, one of the ones I like the most. Siren is passionate, mysterious, and magnetic. It has pineapple, lemon, green apple, rose, lily, mint, powder, musk, wood, and vanilla. Yeah, Georgia Gent, how you doing? This one's called Siren. This is very mass appealing with the pineapple and apple. Some people might claim that this is an Aventus fragrance, but it's not. It has rose and lily and mint, powder, muskwood, and vanilla. This isn't really a Aventus fragrance. You could claim that it's inspired by Aventus. This interesting, almost geranium-like mint really comes through. It's fresh. It's a little bit green. Of course, it's fresh with the pineapple. Siren is really nice for the money. I think that this is one of the most mass appealing, one of the ones ladies would gravitate towards the most. Georgia Gent says, I have Imaginary Authors sample set in my cart in Amazon. We're scooping. Um, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask. I've only tried one or two of Imaginary Authors. I was very excited to try Every Storm a Serenade. And I've been told later on after I tried the sample that it's maybe one of the worst ones from the house. So I've only tried one of their maybe not as good offerings, one of the ones that's not one of their best. Um, so I don't know if I'm a good judge of character. I need to try more. Again, that's not a house that I've bought in or just jumped into. I really want to try Memoirs of a Trespasser and Whispered Mists, I believe it is. Those two really piqued my interest, but Every Storm a Serenade for me was a big letdown. I think that going for something like a Davidoff Cool Water is much better fragrance, performance, and smell, and of course value for money. Every Storm a Serenade was not something that I personally would recommend. Um, for me personally, samples just get so expensive. I'm at the point where I've smelled so many good fragrances that I want to buy. Paying for samples just to experience and just to review them is expensive. I mean, it's kind of fun to just try them. If you have the money, I would recommend you just spend the money and drive and spend the money on the gas to get to a boutique and sample them when you go to a big mall in a big boutique in a big city. That would be my recommendation. I live pretty far away from any big boutiques or a big city by any means, so that is not easy for me to do. But I would recommend you spend your money that way because you might end up like me. I've spent hundreds on samples, and I could have 4 or 5 more niche fragrances. If I lived closer to a boutique, I wouldn't have to pay for those samples. Samples get expensive, and I'm putting their products out there. I'm giving eyes on their products. I'm perhaps making them sales on their products. So I get really annoyed as a reviewer at this point where I have to pay for samples. That's just me. That's my personality. Um, let's go down there, Ben. Yeah, let's check out all the samples and smell them all. Have a fun time. Scent Alchemist says, I want to try Bull's Blood from the house, along with Sundrunk. Yeah, Sundrunk looks really happy and really fun. I think Bull's Blood is maybe their most artistic, most niche fragrance from the house. I think it's polarizing. A lot of people, it's kind of a love or hate fragrance. Cobra and the Canary looks really interesting as well. I really want to try Cobra and the Canary from Imaginary Authors. Anyways, I like how the mint is used here, and Siren from Devona. I like the minty and the fresh aspect of this. I think it's a very nice way to introduce a green aspect, like almost like a seaweed or the fins of a mermaid here. I think that this one is one of the most mass appealing. And if you're a big pineapple head, and if you like unisex pineapple fragrances, and you're a guy, and you want your lady to smell like that, maybe you want to check this one out for your lady. Devona Siren is a great fragrance. It's one of the best from the house. Um, let's see. Georgia Gent says, be on the lookout for a tag video, by the way. Thank you. And Georgia Gent, if you want to self-tag yourself in my recent video, top 10 best fragrances of the year, like my own fragrance awards, I would love to see you, perpetuate or keep that tag going as well. So please consider yourself tagged for that one. I tagged a Fragrance Journey and Tom Elise in that video, but I have not seen them do the tag yet. But I would love to see that. Love to see that going on. It's actually very close, so I will do that. Yeah, you could just go to your boutique and go to your mall and not have to spend the $40-50 on a discovery set and you could wear it and test it and have fun and wear it around and get feedback from people at the mall. The mall is perfect for a fragrance reviewer. It's just perfect. Filming when I get out of the gym. Hey, you're getting swole again, man. Working out, getting strong. That's awesome. E. Jean Baptiste says, I live in Philly, so I go to Sephora and Ulta to smell things and go to the discounters and buy them. Yeah, that's the smart way to go if you can do that. Smell as much as you can and then get a good discount on the fragrances if you can do that. So, fantastic way to do it. Let me jump to more of these samples. I got a lot of them from Devona, and they were so generous to be, working with me. I'm so grateful that they were willing to do that and send these my way. The next one is called Ember. This is perhaps their most niche fragrance. This is their most artistic fragrance. If y'all into niche fragrances, if you're into creative fragrances, Devona's Ember is probably the way to go. And I feel like it's maybe their most unisex fragrance. Again, their brand is focused more towards women and more towards the ladies. But Embers is wonderful. It has a very interesting, modern, universal use of smoke. I've never smelled smoke used in this very mass appealing, modern way. Again, this fragrance says it's independent, perseverant, and optimistic. It has notes of citrus, peach, raspberry, apple, rose, jasmine, violet, herbs, lily, musk, vanilla, smoke, and pine. So I really like this fragrance for how modern it is, and I do like the woody notes and smoky notes, honest, confident, grounding kind of aspect to this fragrance. Devona Ember is one of my favorites from the collection. If I had any to recommend so far, Siren would definitely be recommended for an easy, universal, mass appealing kind of fragrance. Embers is a very good, kind of more niche fragrance, but it's not hard to wear. And I think it captures embers very well. And again, if you've lived in the city and you've never seen embers, it's kind of like coal, like from barbecuing or charcoal. It's kind of that. And I can imagine some glowing embers in your heat in your fireplace. I like this fragrance, but this one is a little bit more subtle. It's going to be a little bit more base note heavy in the dry down, but I do like that fragrance a lot. Another one, let me see if I can, all these stick together a little bit from the glue. Anyways, this one's called Spark. This is one that's interesting. It says let me see, comments here. Everybody in the comments. Picked up Sauvage Parfum for Christmas. Thoughts on it? Big 13. Honestly, I haven't tried that fragrance yet. I need to see if it's at my local mall. I don't have a big budget to just go out there and blind buy a designer fragrance that's, anywhere from $50 to $100. But I'm gonna get my nose on it soon and let y'all know my thoughts on it. I'm kind of optimistic. A lot of people seem to not like it because it doesn't perform or project as well as the EDT. But if it has a fuller body, if it's more well composed, I actually think it's going to be a better fragrance overall. So let me know. What do you think about it? Do you like it? It looks like it might be a good one. I honestly am not a fan of the EDT, though. I don't like the original very much. Spark here is a very interesting fragrance. It's red grape, coconut, gardenia, violet, herbs, nuts, and sugar. Spark is a really fun fragrance. The opening of it almost reminds me of starfruit. It has this very interesting, acidic fragrance nuance. Then it has this very fun fruitiness come through. I really do like red grape. I do like wine aspects in fragrances. I find it very alluring and interesting, that type of sweetness. I do like coconut, and it has gardenia and violet. And I do like violet if it's used well in a fragrance. So this is very universal. It's very easy wearing, very easy to wear. I think that this is more of a mass appealing fragrance. But again, they're trying to make mass appealing fragrances that have a little bit of character. These fragrances have a little bit of interesting notes, something different about them. So I really do like this brand and what they're bringing to the table. And their prices aren't too bad either. Big 13 says, I've never smelt the EDT or the EDP, but got gifted the parfum. It's very nice so far, but I don't have anything to compare it to. Also got the classic Le Male. Hands up, praise. Yeah, go to your mall, try the EDT and the EDP. I personally don't like the EDP. I feel like the notes are kind of like in sections, if that makes sense. That's how I smell them. In that fragrance, and I don't know a lot of fragrances that honestly do that. It's very interesting when you smell the fragrance. I smell like a section of like red pepper, maybe a little bit of red berry. Then I smell a section of shampoo, and this is how the fragrance develops. And then I smell the musky accords, and it's really like a transition. It's really just like cut and dry with like different stages, and it's not very well blended, and it's not a very well composed fragrance in my opinion. And then it becomes maybe a little bit animalic and sweaty, and then the fragrance kind of blurs and kind of falls apart, and I just don't like the Sauvage EDT by any means. It doesn't have the body of the fragrance, and it's far too loud. Some people think it's too spicy. Some people think it's animalic. I think it's just a little bit sweaty, and I really don't like the smell of shampoo in a fragrance. That's just my opinion. I respect anybody who likes that fragrance. Wear what you love. That's what I always say. But I bet, in my opinion, the Parfum is probably a better fragrance. His and Hers fragrance reviews is up in the house. A great fragrance guy, a really kind, a genuine guy. I think he has things in his personal life. I just watched his video on his channel. I think he's gonna step back from the fragrance game for a little while. But he's another upcoming guy. I think you have less than 100 subs. He's a good guy. You got to check out his content, see what he's been doing, what he's all about, and give guys like that a chance. His and Hers fragrance reviews is a good guy. I like your content, my friend. Um, okay, let's see here. Let's jump to Coral. Again, everybody, this is from the house of Devona. Again, a brand. This one's focused more on the ladies. If you want a little gift, for your lady, maybe for the holidays, maybe for a birthday, I think you can get 1 ounces for about $40 to $50, and they're mass appealing, but they are a little bit unique. So I think that this is a really nice brand. Overall, they're a little bit light. They're not going to be really long lasting. They're really going to be 6 hour fragrances overall, but they are interesting. They're cruelty free. They say paraben free and phthalate free, which are chemicals and plastic free kind of things. Yeah, His and Hers fragrance reviews. I love to support the little guy, support the upcoming guy, and I like your work. This one says it's imaginative, creative, and sensitive. Green notes, tropical notes, coconut, magnolia, rose, lily of the valley, muskwood, ambergris. So Devona Coral. This is the one we got on our hands right now. What does it smell like? What do we got here? This is a very transparent, clean fragrance. It's almost a musk fragrance. It's very easy to wear. It's very light, very inoffensive. Coral does have a little bit of this interesting green quality that comes through. Very green, almost tropical. But again, has this very mass appealing, almost cologne vibe to it. I really like Magnolia. If you've never experienced Magnolia, Magnolia has a very fruity, almost floral aspect to it. It's very full bodied. It almost looks like a red bean, the Magnolia seed pods, and they're very fragrant. If you ever live around a Magnolia or have the chance to open a Magnolia seed pod, they smell very beautiful from the pod. It's a very gorgeous, full, textured, floral kind of aspect or note, and it's a gorgeous thing. So I like the Magnolia in this fragrance. This is a very cheerful, easygoing, everyday kind of fragrance. Devona Coral. I can imagine if you like Mugler Aura, that you might like this one. I think that this is a much better fragrance than Mugler's Aura, this Devona Coral. So very good fragrance overall. But again, it's kind of light. It's kind of easygoing. Some people might say doesn't have a lot of character. If you like things like Gucci Bamboo, you might like that fragrance. Again, Gucci Bamboo EDP. If y'all don't know, I've tried to mention it a few times on my channel. Gucci Bamboo EDP, and the EDT is good as well, but especially the EDP. is one of the best universal, mass appealing feminine fragrances on the market. It's really good. It smells fresh and lively and happy. And I don't know. There's something about that fragrance that I think is really quite nice. Let me see if I can't connect. Let's see. This one's called Lux. Let me see if I can't find the card sample. I can. Here it is. It's the one with the phoenix. This one here is called Lux. Lux. It's majestic, energetic, and daring. It says it has blackberry, blueberry, ozone, bergamot, jasmine, lily, lavender, powder, vanilla, wood, musk, and tonka bean. Now, I think this is one of the ones that for me, for some reason, this just wasn't my personality. This one, the notes, it has this like interesting powdery freshness off the top. I get a little bit maybe of the blackberry, but overall, this is kind of like light and transparent and easygoing. As with the name Lux, I was expecting something very luxurious, something very fancy, something very, very classy. To me, Devona Lux is not something that I felt like had enough body or had enough luxuriousness. I was expecting like a gold fragrance, like a gold edition. I was expecting something maybe with like a patchouli feel or something maybe with like a golden resin to it. This is a nice fragrance. It's like an understated, classy fragrance. If you want something inoffensive and classy and fancy, and you don't want to shout, maybe you're a lady that's a little bit more reserved. I think that this would be a nice, classy fragrance for a reserved kind of lady, maybe who's going to a ball, a fancy event. Maybe that's an office fragrance. That would be a very good office fragrance as well. All these fragrances are inoffensive and really could work for being inoffensive fragrances. And I think that's a good thing in the market. His and Hers Fragrance Reviews. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. I see 13 people are in the house. What's your scent of the day? How are you doing? What's going on? Please like this video to support me and help me out. I'm talking about all about Devona, which is a brand new brand. And I really want to get the word out. They were generous enough to send me these samples, and I really do like this brand. As far as inoffensive ladies fragrances goes, and again, guys, if you want a good gift, give a good gift for your lady out there. The next one is called Sierra. I don't know why. Sierra is a fragrance that I gravitate towards. This is maybe my favorite from the brand. I really like ambrette in fragrances. I like fragrances that have like royal earth fragrances that are more grounding. And honestly, most of the ladies I've met who are named Sierra, there's something about them. I tend to like their character a little bit. They're a little bit free-spirited, a little bit confident, and a little bit, they don't have to say a lot to really get their message across, if you know what I mean. So, Sierra is called loyal, determined, and patient. Those are the attributes of the fragrance. This one has ozone, peach, plum, citrus, honey, jasmine, tuberose, lavender, musk, wood, and chocolate. This, I think, might be my favorite from the collection. It's inspired by the Sierra Mountains. That they're proud and they stand up and they have their own character of their own. Of course, I'm a sucker for chocolate if it's used in the right way. This one I think is my favorite from the collection. It's very easy to wear. Again, just like any of the fragrances, but this one is a little bit more niche-like. Just like Embers and Sierra are a little bit more niche-like. Really nice fragrance. I really like that one. And if I had a lady around, I would hope that she would like that fragrance because I might just have to buy that for her. Let me see here with the comments. His and Hers Fragrance Review says scent of the day is Luna by Kimmy, Blending Magic. Oh my goodness, that sounds interesting. That sounds like some interesting stuff. His and Hers Fragrance Review says you always put me on these cool brands that I need to try out. Yeah, I'm all about finding the indie brands and the new brands and the best fragrances for the money. I don't talk about the designer fragrances all the time. I don't talk about the popular fragrances all the time. And I guess I'm a little bit snobbish because honestly, I don't like a lot of the popular things. Not because I'm being cheeky. I mean, I am cheeky in my own way. But I just don't like Baccarat Rouge 540. I was one of the first people in the fragrance community to immediately say, I don't like that fragrance. It doesn't do it for me. I was one of the first people to say it. And I was one of the first people to say Aventus cologne is not well composed and not worth the money. I just, I put my opinion out there. I'm true to who I am, and not every fragrance is going to work for everybody. So, yeah, thank you so much, and I'm here to help y'all. The next one is called Aurea by Devona. This one has the pictures of dandelions on the front. So it's supposed to capture like a sunny day, a breezy day. This one is idealistic, charming, romantic. Notes of ozone, melon, blackberry, rose, vanilla, ambrette. It's got my favorite ambrette. And it has musk. So let's see what we're got going on here. This is a very clean fragrance. This is one of those cotton fragrances. This is very fresh. This is one of the ones I think that snuck past me, and I think this one is the one that is a real first impression. I've tried some of the other ones a little bit. This is the one that I hadn't tried. Oh, this is gorgeous. I love this fragrance. Yes. I just did a review of Fragranza's White Diamond on my channel, which is a very clean, classy, easy to wear fragrance for the ladies. I don't think that there's a lot of clean, cotton-like, fresh out of the shower fragrances for ladies. I think that is a market, like professional fragrances for ladies. I don't think that there's enough of them out there. I don't think that is a market. There's a real market opportunity for that. And I think that this brand with this fragrance called Aura is a very good fragrance for that. I think it's very well done. Of course, it's a little bit soft. It's a little bit more of a personal scent. Again, these fragrances are going to be more of like 6-hour fragrances abouts. But this is a very nice, clean, easygoing, happy fragrance. Very well done. So again, I'm just putting the word out there. If that's something that you're looking for, if you're looking for a gift for a lady, White Oriental Diamond by Fragranza, and that one there, Aurea by Devona, is perfect. So let's jump to some other. I have some more. Trust me, they sent me like the sample cards of their whole collection. I was like, whoa, wow. So we have 4, maybe 5 more of these, and I'll show you all my Christmas fragrance, and we'll wrap this whole thing up because I know that y'all are pressed for time probably, and I'm not trying to take your whole day. The next one is called Kalima, and I grabbed the right one. This one is eccentric, wild, and friendly. It has notes of grapefruit, green notes, peach, white citrus, hyacinth, herbs, rose, musk, and wood. So what do we got on our hands here? This one is very transparent. This one is more of a very, very personal scent, very close to the skin. And it has this interesting, like, warm, breezy fragrance. I actually quite like this fragrance. It smells like, look at this. It's supposed to be like a warm summer breeze, taking the petals off some sunflowers in a very, bright, sunny, happy day. It has a very nice use of aldehydes, very nice use of modern kind of aldehydic feel. It must be the grapefruit that's really helping this with the white citrus and the peach. I'm not familiar with the note of hyacinth very much. I believe it's a floral, but I do like it. It's almost giving a freesia-like smell or freesia-like effect to this fragrance, if you're familiar with freesia at all. Freesia almost has this white floral, almost powdery aspect to the note. So I imagine that hyacinth is almost like a cousin in smell to that. This one is nostalgic for me. That's one of the reasons I like this one very much. It captures a scent memory for me. A hot summer day around a field of sunflowers. It captures that, that warm wind that comes off the ground. Very nice smell. Very nostalgic. That would a lady in a sundress, that would smite me. That has magic. That's a good fragrance. John Massey says, I also love the note of chocolate. Do you like and can you recommend any mainstream designer fragrances with chocolate? Any mainstream designer fragrances with chocolate? One that comes to mind, this one's for the ladies though. It's Coco Mademoiselle. It has almost a bitter, dry, chocolatey vibe to it. Chocolate is not the focus of the fragrance. That one is mainstream and extremely popular. Coco Mademoiselle EDP is one of the best-selling fragrances in the world, and it's great for a lady. There's no doubt that if you want a gift for a lady in your world, that I doubt that she would ever dislike it. It has good performance, and it's just proven. It's one of the best classic fragrances that's ever been made. Um, as far as a fragrance recommending it for you as a guy, there's not a lot of strong chocolate quote unquote fragrances for the guy in the designer world. Chocolate is more of a niche note, but there is one. There is one that I would recommend to you. It's Pure Tonka. And if you want a chocolate fragrance, if you want one that has a good amount of chocolate, you better buy that one quick because Mugler is reformulating or about to quote unquote remove a lot of the fragrances from their line. So if you want that one, you better buy it sooner than later. It has coffee. It has a lot of tonka, of course, it being called pure tonka. It has coffee and chocolate. It's very cozy, very soft, very gourmandish fragrance. But it has good performance. It has a good smell, and it's one of my most complimented fragrances. It works with my personality, and it has a good performance. Pure Tonka is, in my opinion, one of the best designer fragrances, especially in the gourmand kind of world. Um, I've had Pure Tonka before. It's very nice. I think that's one of the best. People are saying Pulse of the Night might have a little bit of a chocolatey, somewhat of a nuance. As far as men's fragrances go, designer fragrances, you don't have a lot of options. If you're willing to go into the oud aspects, that nutty, full-bodied aspect with a lot of sweetness, if you want something a little bit more daring, it's not terribly daring, and you want really good performance, 24 Gold by the House of Scent Story, or even some of the Calumet style fragrances are really nice. You probably have smelled Leighton. Leighton has a little bit of a chocolatey nuance. Very good compliment fragrance. Pretty good performance. You know, it's kind of it's a step into niche. It's not a very artistic fragrance, but it does get compliments. It's very well done, and it serves a very good purpose in the fragrance community. So as far as that could be chocolatey fragrances for you, for a man out there. There's just not a lot of, you know, somewhat affordable entry level chocolatey fragrances for a man out there. If Coffee nuances are a little bit more common. There's Givenchy Play Intense, but that one's getting hard to find. There's Versace The Dreamer, which I really don't go for. I personally, that's not one of the scents I like. But there's a cult following behind it. A lot of people do like Versace The Dreamer. So if you like those coffee nuances, a chocolate, maybe cocoa nuances, um, and almost forgot there is Guerlain. I think it's like Instant de Guerlain. Check it out. I think it has like a powdery iris and chocolatey nuance. I think it's called Les Instant de Guerlain. So go to Guerlain, look up for something called like Les Instant on Fragrantica. I almost forgot about that one. That one is a little bit iris heavy. It's a little bit more metro. I would say it's unisex, but it's not Dior Homme O. It's not, but it's kind of the cousin. It's kind of the unsung cousin. It doesn't get a lot of love and it doesn't get a lot of attention, and it really should be almost as popular, if not just as popular, as Dior Homme. So check that one out as well. I hope that I helped you. I love Gourmand. I recently bought Chocolate Greedy. I like it. It's my first niche fragrance. Yeah, if you love chocolate, go for that one. Another pretty good one is it's not exactly designer. It's by the House of B Layered, and it's called Dark Temptation. It's essentially a clone or a adaptation of Oud Bouquet by Lancôme, I believe it is, and they added chocolate to it, and it's mass appealing and pretty good for a fragrance. I think it's about $55 or maybe $60 for a 50 ml. So if that's what you're looking for, a oud floral fragrance with chocolate, it's pretty good. It's not a bad fragrance at all. Again, I would recommend, if you're looking for something a little bit bold, I would recommend 24 Gold Oud Edition by Scent Story. It's excellent performance, excellent value for money. It's a great fragrance overall. A fragrance journey is in the house. What up? How you doing today? I'm talking about the House of Devona. I have about three more to share with y'all, and then I'm going to talk about my Christmas fragrance I got. The earlier in the video, I got to share four fragrances from the House of Magal Matos. I got to talk about Germain and Sailor Stories, and there was like Dance of the Roses, I think it was called, and just I think there was another one too, Silver Stone. I got to talk about those. So if you want to watch this afterwards and check out those. The next one is called Zephyr. Let me see if I can't find Zephyr here. Here we go. This one is called Fun Loving, Citrus, and Sweet. It has green notes, citrus, apricot, pineapple, coconut, jasmine, lily of the valley, herbs, rosebuds, musk, powder, wood, and leather. So there's a lot going into this fragrance. How are you doing, Fragrance Journey? What's your scent of the day? I love seeing you here. I think this is one of the ones I honestly didn't like as much from the collection. It's a nice fragrance, yeah, but it has almost this mimosa like quality to it. And I don't like the note of mimosa very much. It's a fine fragrance. It's fresh. It's easygoing. It has pineapple and coconut. It's nice. I personally just don't like this one as much. Somebody out there might quite like it. I just don't like this powdery sweet aspect to it. I don't like how the florals come off in this one as much. But it's a good fragrance. And I've said a lot of good things, and I like a lot of these fragrances from the collection, which I was really surprised. When you first try this brand, when you first check out this brand, you might think they have a universal cologne appeal. You might think that they're too light. You might think that these fragrances aren't going to perform as much or don't perform enough. But for the value, for the money, and that they give back to a really good cause, I'm just really impressed overall. I am. The next one is Willows. I think Willow. No. Yes, here it goes. And this one is called Intelligent, Sympathetic, and Calm. Notes of grapefruit, ozone, green notes, bergamot, berries, tuberose, orchid, vanilla, rosewood, and sandalwood. Y'all know how much I like my sandalwood. So I think this is one of my favorite green fragrances. I think it's my favorite green fragrance I've ever smelled for a lady. This is my favorite green fragrance, again, that I've ever smelled for a lady, and I really do like this one. It's very nice. It's just fresh, and the interesting rosewood comes through with the vanilla and the sandalwood, I think, a lot. And it's very fresh and easygoing. Again, it has a little bit of that magnolia type feel that a lot of these fragrances have. Almost that soft powderiness. But it's very well done, and I like it. And a lot of fragrance brands are currently, not disclosing their accord of berries, like what goes into their berry accords. But I do like that berry-like quality to this. Willows, they did a good job. The next one is called Brook. I don't remember much about this one. Let's try to jog my memory. See what we got going on here. This one is intuitive, nurturing, and empathetic. Green notes, citrus, apple, peach, berries, lavender, rose, blossom, peony, lily of the valley, musk, powder, and sandalwood. This one's nice. It has a little bit of sharpness to it. The green notes are almost coming a little bit sharp. I think that's the rose blossom and the peony. I'm not the biggest fan of peony often in fragrances, so this isn't my favorite fragrance, but I do think it captures a feeling very well. Do you all know what a brook is? A brook is like a little stream, and sometimes they can like make little sing-song notes, little gurgles and little crackles, moving stones in the water. Brooks are very fun to be around. If you've never experienced a brook, I think that it's a very fun experience. I think it does capture that feeling very well. But again, there's something a little bit almost aldehydic, a little bit sharp to this fragrance. And it's not my favorite, but it's a nice fragrance. No doubt about it. Okay. For you good 9 people, maybe one of you has stuck around this whole video. You're going to finally get to see what I got for Christmas. You're finally going to see We've gone through all the samples of Devona. This is pretty much their whole brand. I pretty much shared their whole brand with y'all today. Talking about all their great fragrances and giving them a little bit of a spotlight today. So I hope that y'all like that. And again, if you're looking for a gift for your lady, I think that this is a really good way to go. Anyways, Fragrance Journey, how are you doing? What's your scent of the day? In the comment section, please comment. Please let me know how you're doing. Let me know what y'all are wearing. My scent of the... maybe I'll make it my scent of the day. I got some cooking to do later and some work. But this one is Oud Vanille by the House of Mansara. I've been wanting this for a while. I've been wanting to get my hands on it. I've been wanting to, try it out. And I've got to get it out of its little bag. It's brand new and pristine. This is Oud Vanille. And this one has, of course, oud and vanilla in a very gorgeous way. But, of course, Mansara had to do something special. They had to put a little twist on it. This one does smell a little bit medicinal, honestly, if you smell it up close. But it adds this leathery nuance. And the leathery nuance to this fragrance really is what makes it special. It doesn't smell exactly like leather. I don't think that leather is mentioned as a note particularly. But Oud Vanille by the House of Mansara is a great performer. It's sweet. It's very well done. The oud is not a scary oud. It's not an overdone oud. It's not too complex or animalic or dirty. This is a very wearable oud fragrance. And it's just so mass appealing. It's seductive. It's kind of woody. And I've smelled oud vanilla fragrances before. I already have, beautiful fragrances like 24 Gold, Oud Edition by Scent Story. So I honestly was wondering if I would even like this fragrance if I needed it in my collection. This fragrance is a seductive little creature. It has a leathery suede-like nuance. Again, it has a very nice vanilla that's more airy. The vanilla doesn't smell overtly gourmand. And the oud is more of a little bit of a medicinal oud. Light, but it still has a little bit of a dark aspect to it. But it's light in how it comes across with the feel of the oud. Again, if you're looking into oud, this is one of the best ones to get into. If you're a guy that's wearable, again, very good. Les Elixirs has an oud coming out, a brand new brand. I have it on pre-order. That's one of the best mass-appealing spicy cardamom ouds on the market. It's much better than CH Mint Privé, in my opinion. And I would encourage y'all on Instagram to go check out Les Elixirs because I think that they're going to come out with some great fragrances. This one is great for the money. Rogba is about a $30-$35 oud fragrance with serious performance. It's kind of linear. It can be kind of cloying, but fantastic fragrance. Very happy with this one. You can get it at discounters for about $80. So Mansara Oud Vanille is my first Mansara. I really want to get Oud Cafe, but as far as Mansaras go, this is my favorite so far. And it's my first Mansara that I've really decided to get into my collection. So very happy about this fragrance. Very happy to have it in my collection. And y'all know how much I like leathery nuances in a fragrance. I really like leathery nuances and leathery qualities to a good masculine deep fragrance. And I really need to get Ombre Leather by Tom Ford as well. Nikki Lunsden says hello. Hello, how are you doing? If you just jumped into my video, this is kind of the end. If you want to watch the replay, I go through the whole collection of Devona fragrances and give my opinions about some of the brands, kind of a quick first impressions. And I talked about, in the beginning, some of the fragrances from Miguel Matos. 4 of his fragrances, very kind of artistic, modern-ish fragrances, kind of futuristic fragrances, if I dare say so. So, thank y'all so much for being here. I'm going to wrap this video up real quick. I've been very long-winded and spoken very well today, and I'm kind of grateful for that. Grateful to be alive, And thank y'all so much for being here today. All the love and all the support, all that y'all do in the fragrance community, helping build up the fragrance community, helping build up everybody, making everybody feel good. And I've set out here in this video with y'all and for y'all and kind of got rained on. I think I need to change out my shirt or I might get sick. Fab Trends by Mia was in the house. You were a lurker today. You're a great channel too. Always feel free to chat me up and say hello. I think you have a great channel and I think you have great content. John Massey says you're welcome, bud. Yeah, thank you for all that y'all do in the fragrance community and all the support and all that y'all do. I love making new friends, getting to know everybody, and building everybody up. I think the fragrance community is a really good thing overall. I think the Facebook fragrance community is what kind of pulls everybody down, or maybe gets a little bit too much attention for what it is. Facebook is way too dramatic. I think the real community is us as fragrance reviewers being connected to you, the viewer, or everybody, and the connections we make as reviewers together. I don't think the Facebook fragrance community is that important, and I think that it again maybe is a little bit too negative or critical. Yeah, don't do Facebook groups. I keep a distance. I sometimes put my tippy toe in the water sometimes, but I kind of step away from the Facebook fragrance world and communities a lot of the time. Of course, please, if you're here, if you're watching my content, you 9 loyal people, please connect with me on Facebook. I have my own little Facebook group. We're all friends there. It's a no drama group. We're all friends there. I announce that I'm going live. I put my content there so you never miss out on my content. It's called Centaur Fragrance Family. Centaur Fragrance Family, and you can reach out to me, send an invitation or a request to enter the group, and I'll approve you. I've never disapproved of anybody so far. So please do that, and of course connect to my Instagram, Centaur_fragrance, and I share giveaways. I share fragrance reviews. There's a great community there on on Instagram. So thank y'all so much for being here. Thank y'all for connecting with me. Thank you for the friendship, and I'm going to wrap this up today. Hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have a fantastic time with your family, a fantastic New Year's. I hope that you have friends and family over. You're staying warm. You're eating great, amazing food. And please, everybody, drive safe. Drive safe in your car. Don't drive intoxicated. Be careful of other drivers. It's heartbreaking when you hear of those stories where people were driving out carelessly in the middle of the night, and they come across a drunk driver. If you can, don't go out and even be on the roads, New Year's night. Maybe get to your party early. Try to be safe, everybody. And thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you, and for your support and your love of me as a fragrance reviewer. It makes the world, and it means a lot to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all that you do and your love. And I'll see y'all next time. This has been the Centaur Fragrance Channel. Of course, my name is Benjamin, and I'll see you next time. Wear what you love, rock what you got, and have fun out there. And bye, everybody. Have a good one. Have a good weekend, Fab Trends by Mia. Have a good one.